teams, from the Secretary of the Senate's office to the parliamentarians, to the Sergeant at Arms team, and beyond. But there are two more groups I'd like to single out now. First, the two different classes of Senate pages who participated in this trial. Their footwork and cool under pressure literally kept the floor running. Our current class came on board right in the middle of the third presidential impeachment trial in American history and quickly found themselves hand-delivering 180 question cards from senators' desks to the dais. No pressure, right, guys? So thank you all very much for your good work. And second, the fine men and women of the Capitol Police, we know that the safety of our democracy literally rests in their hands every single day. But the heightened measures surrounding the trial meant even more hours and even more work and even more vigilance. Thank you all very much for your service to this body and to the country.
The chair recognizes the Democratic leader.
I join the Republican leader in thanking the personnel who aided the Senate over the past several weeks. Capitol Police do an outstanding job day in, day out to protect the members of this chamber, their staffs, the press, and everyone who works in and visits this Capitol. They were asked to work extra shifts and in greater numbers to provide additional security over the past 3 weeks. Thank you to every one of them. I, too, would like to thank those wonderful pages. I so much enjoyed you with your serious faces walking down right here and giving the Chief Justice our questions. As the leader noted, the new class of pages started midway in this impeachment trial. When you take a new job, you're usually given a few days to take stock of things, get up to speed. This class was given no such leeway, but they stepped right in, didn't miss a beat, ferrying hundreds of questions from U.S. senators to the Chief Justice on national television is not how most of us spend our first week at work, but they did it with aplomb. I'd also like to extend my personal thank you to David Houck, the Director of the Office of Accessibility Services, Tyler Pumphrey, the Supervisor, and Grace Ridgway, the wonderful Director of Capitol Facilities. Everyone Grace's team worked so hard to make sure we were ready for impeachment. Gary Richardson, known affectionately to us as Tiny, the chief chamber attendant. Jim Hoover and the cabinet shop, who built new cabinets to deprive us of the use of our electronics and flip phones during the trial. Brenda Bird and her team did a spectacular job of keeping the Capitol clean, and Lyden Webb and his team who moved the furniture and then moved it again and again and again. Grace, we appreciate all your hard work. Please convey our sincerest thanks to your staff. Thank you all, the whole staff, for your diligent work through many long days and late nights during this very trying time in our nation's history.
Mr. Chief Justice.
The chair also wishes to make a very brief statement. I would like to begin by thanking the Majority Leader and the Democratic Leader for their support as I attempted to carry out ill-defined responsibilities in an unfamiliar setting. They ensured that I had the wise counsel of the Senate itself through its Secretary and her legislative staff. I am especially grateful to the parliamentarian and her deputy for their unfailing patience and keen insight. I am likewise grateful to the Sergeant at Arms and his staff for the assistance and many courtesies that they extended during my period of required residency. And thank you all for making my presence here as comfortable as possible. As I depart the chamber, I do so with an invitation to visit the court. By long tradition and in memory of the 135 years we sat in this building, we keep the front row of the gallery in our courtroom open for members of Congress who might want to drop by to see an argument or to escape one. I also depart with sincere good wishes as we carry out our common commitment to the Constitution through the distinct roles assigned to us by that charter. You have been generous hosts, and I look forward to seeing you again under happier circumstances. Chair recognizes the Majority Leader.
I move that the Senate, sitting as a court of impeachment on the articles against Donald John Trump, adjourn, sine die.
Without objection, the motion is agreed to. The Senate, sitting as a court of impeachment, stands adjourned, sine die.
The impeachment trial of President Trump is over. A president who has triumphed over so many ethically, morally, and perilous moments will not be removed from office. The vote on the first article of impeachment, abuse of power, 52 to 48, one Republican voting guilt. The second article, obstruction of Congress, party line vote, 53 to 47. Let's go to Chuck Todd right now for some first thoughts. Chuck?
Well, look, it's funny the way you introduced that, Lester. It made me think this is the story of Donald Trump's life, okay, which is he pushes things up to the line, he crosses a line, he gets pushed back, and he somehow survives. I guess the question on this, he has survived this, but the question is, does he survive November? Has this done more damage long term, or has he united his party? I will say this. I think the Mitt Romney decision to vote to convict does deny the president sort of the ability to call it a bipartisan acquittal. That's not an insignificant thing. But in many ways, the fact that the Republican nominee for president, the last one before Donald Trump became leader of the Republican Party, decided to do this, I think almost serves as just as much of a rebuke as a censure would do, and there's been some talk of that. In many ways, the fact that the first time we've really had an impeachment in the modern era, that somebody from the same party voted to convict, I think it does serve as sort of an added exclamation point to the impeachment itself. And while his acquittal has been good for his base politics so far, I do think this impeachment vote will live for a long time with these senators. And the question will be, how long will it live with them, and which one will haunt them more? Those that voted to acquit, and those that voted to convict. I'll tell you this, I think of this like the Iraq War vote. You don't know today how this is going to play tomorrow.
Andrea Mitchell, watching along with us in Washington. I got to step into your world yesterday, both of your worlds, spending some time at the White House and the Capitol, and came away with the big question of whether this Congress, this government as we see it in this situation right now, is going to get anything done here in the next year.
I think last night's speech answers that question. Except for emergency measures, it seems very unlikely, because I have never seen the House chamber as divided, as partisan, as rancorous as it was last night. I spent years up there on the Hill, covered the White House as well and foreign policy, and I've never seen this government so riven with anger at the different functions, the cabinet divided, as well as the central core of this impeachment was over foreign policy, over Ukraine, over foreign, the accusation, of course, of abuse of power and inviting foreign interference into the American election. So there's almost no part of government that is together. There's a lot of criticism from the intelligence community of the CIA director, Gina Haspel. We didn't quite see it clearly on camera, partly because of the way that one network pool was not showing opposition. But Gina Haspel becomes, to my recollection and to career professionals and former Republican CIA directors, the first CIA director to stand and applause and cheer with the Republican House members on domestic issues, on political issues. And it seems as though even in that typically non-political, non-policy making part of government, that also was swept up. She was swept up, a career professional, swept up in the politics of the moment. That's clearly a decision. You didn't see that with the military. The Joint Chiefs were grim and their hands folded, the Supreme Court as well. But there just is so much division. Obviously, Nancy Pelosi tearing the speech, the president not taking her hand, the president claiming incorrectly that he would sign a prescription drug lowering, cost lowering bill the minute it hit his desk. There is such a bipartisan bill in the Senate. Mitch McConnell has not brought it up. There are bills, you heard the cries of H.R. 3, that the claim that the medical issues have already been approved and are sitting on the desk, and the fact that the president claimed that he and Republicans want to protect pre-existing conditions from being eliminated from health care, which is exactly what the Justice Department is fighting all the way to the Supreme Court. So I don't see anything getting done in election year.
All right, Andrea, Kristen Welker is standing by on Capitol Hill. Kristen, it's hard to imagine we won't, or at the White House, I'm sorry, it's hard to imagine we won't hear from the president soon. What's your read?
Well, I anticipate.
We're back local, and for those of you who would like to continue watching this coverage, certainly you have options, MSNBC among others. But we're going to go local, and as you just heard, President Trump has been found not guilty on both articles of impeachment.
And we will be right back with more First at 4.
Coverage you can count on. Channel 3 Eyewitness News, First at 4.
We're back with you live from Channel 3. I'm David Carroll.
And I'm Cindy Sexton. Our top story will continue to be the weather this evening. Hamilton and Marion counties are still under a flash flood warning. Well, it may have just expired, so let's find out the latest from our weather team. Brittany Beggs is standing by. Everyone on the weather team is keeping an eye on it all. Allison Pryor is checking the roads also.
Joy Dukes is in Bradley County. Schools in Bradley and Cleveland have been called off for tomorrow. In fact, they've had to rescue someone from the high water there. So it's an eventful afternoon. Here's Brittany Beggs.
All right, Cindy, David. Yeah, we've got a slight risk of severe weather tonight. We've got another round of storms increasing, and it's going to be late, and that'll continue through tomorrow morning. So right now there's a lull in the activity, but to our south and west, things are getting going. So the tornado risk, it's a 5% probability. What's that mean? It means multiple tornado warnings are going to be possible. In fact, a strong tornado can't be ruled out. So anytime we get under a 5% probability, we've got to raise our eyebrows and we got to be on guard tonight. And you can see there's already thunderstorms, severe thunderstorm warnings and tornado warnings across Mississippi near Jackson. That's moving northeastward. So we've got an active night ahead of us. You can see in high-res radar that moisture that we've had here this afternoon that's lifted northward. We had a couple of storms. We had one warm storm. And as we put this in super sensitive mode, it's rain-free now. That's going to change after 8 p.m. The rapid refresh model brings us next batch in after 8 o'clock, but the heavier stuff, I think the strongest stuff, is going to be really early tomorrow morning. I'm thinking 2 to 3 a.m. The rapid refresh model is showing by about 2-3 a.m. we start to see a couple of discrete cells develop. Well, what's that mean? It means a supercell could develop. So that's to our west on the higher elevations, Sequatchie, and you'll notice over Dade County and Jackson County, we get a little bit of some discrete supercells potentially developing here. So anytime we see that, we got to pay attention to it. 4 o'clock in the morning, line could be extending from Chattanooga, Cleveland to Athens. Notice as we head into tomorrow morning's commute, early 5-6 a.m. thunderstorms are still going to be ongoing. These are going to be high precip makers too. High rainfall rates, which is why we've got a flash flood watch in effect. And we're looking at cloud to ground lightning too. Anytime we get heavy rainfall, storms have a better potential of producing lightning. So all modes of severe weather will be possible tonight as we head into daybreak tomorrow. The morning commute, roads are going to be wet and the storm chance is going to kind of fizzle out briefly. But then we get more rainfall moving in. I'm thinking late morning and Thursday afternoon. The heavier stuff, though, should be done. I'm thinking Thursday afternoon, primarily just rainfall. Forecast lows tonight, 30 degrees above normal. 60 will only do it for us in Chattanooga. A little bit cooler for our folks in Altamont. Take a look at this rainfall amount. Already, we picked up nearly 2 inches across Chattanooga. We could get another 2 to 3 inches by tomorrow night. So some areas are going to hit 5 inches of rainfall here. Thursday planner then, watch for storms early. We're going to keep that rain chance with us, but notice these temperatures, they are going to be dropping during the day Thursday, which means freezing temperatures are likely going to be moving in come early in the day on Friday. We are going to be watching for a little bit of a mix, especially on the highest elevations come Friday and come Saturday. And next week, still, we're going to have to keep an eye on another storm chance. So we're in this active pattern, and Chief Meteorologist Paul Barris, he is getting more info from our sky watchers.
Okay.
So we'll have more totals for you coming up in the next half hour.
Brittany, thank you.
Okay.
Hey, at least it's not cold, but that's of little comfort to folks in Bradley County and Cleveland. That's where we find our Joy Dukes. Several roads have been flooded there, creating traffic delays and even one driver stranded. Joy, I understand that somebody had to pitch in to help another person today.
Well, David, good afternoon to you. Yeah, we are here, and we were here earlier near the intersection of Georgetown Road and Peerless Road, where a Cleveland man had to help rescue a woman after her car stalled out in the middle of the intersection, which was flooded earlier today. Now, Cleveland fire officials and police were both on scene earlier, but not before Quincy Quarles. He was driving by, and he says he stopped when he realized this woman's car was stuck and immediately took action. He walked through the water to her car, helped her get out of the car and onto dry land, and he says he did it just in time.
Actually, the water was like maybe a half an inch of coming in her car. So if you think about that, it could have just got higher and higher, and the car would have probably went down the street. Could have been bad.
Now, we're told by fire officials who were on scene the flooding was caused by debris in the road clogging up a storm drain. Once they were able to clear up that debris, they were able to open the road back up. And coming up at 5, we'll hear from that driver who says she was just thankful that someone stopped to see if she was okay. Live in Cleveland, Joy Dukes, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
Thank you, Joy. Now we turn to Allison Pryor. She is in Thunder right now, checking out the roads as a lot of folks are heading out for the commute this evening. Allison, tell us what you're seeing.
Well, it's good news for right now. We're on Hunter Road now. Earlier today, there was some flooding on the roadways. That's not the case now. We've had a dry period, and so things have started to clear up. Here's a live look at what we're seeing going down the road. You can see where there's creeks on either side. Those water levels have now receded, but there is a lot of debris. I want to show you some video that we took earlier this afternoon where Hamilton County Public Works Highway Department crews were out. They were along those ditches, reaching in, cleaning out material from them in order for the water to flow more smoothly through. That smoother flowing water then helps it recede from the roadways, opening them back up to what we're experiencing now. So it is good news for right now here along Hunter Road. You can see some debris across the area where water was there previously, but that is not the case now. So if you are heading out, you have some drier roadways. Of course, continue to be careful overnight tonight as we are expecting more rain and those flooding conditions could return again. For now, I'm Allison Pryor reporting live in Thunder along Hunter Road. Back to you.
Thank you, Allison. The Hamilton County attorney admits that actions by the county conflicts with Tennessee open record laws. Reuben Taylor made the statement this morning when probed by Hamilton County commissioners about a Chattanooga Times Free Press report showing county officials destroyed public records the newspaper had requested. Our Claudia Coco explains this story, which has been making national headlines. Claudia?
David, the Chattanooga Times Free Press published the story over the weekend. It was picked up by the New York Times. That raised a lot of questions from commissioners who were told fees associated with inspection of public records and the destroying of them, quote, conflicts with state law.
We requested to see all of the requests and responses to them because we felt that requests may not be being handled correctly through that office.
Chattanooga Times Free Press reporter Sarah Grace Taylor was called to the podium to answer questions from Hamilton County commissioners Wednesday. Taylor filed an open records request in August to see all records requests submitted to the county attorney's office during a one-year period. Tennessee's open record law allows citizens to request access to all state, county, and municipal records unless they are covered by an exemption. According to County Attorney Reuben Taylor, the records Taylor requested were destroyed 2 months after her request.
So there was already a written request from our paper to see these records being the requests of other records, and then they were destroyed.
Because there is no statute that requires the request to be kept, first of all.
Taylor says the newspaper had access to the records before they were destroyed, but inspecting them would have cost more than $700. Taylor admitted that the law allows the county to charge for the time spent making copies, but not for inspection.
State law says you do not charge for someone wanting to inspect records.
When probed by commissioners, Taylor said Hamilton County interprets the law differently.
But we do conflict with state law? Is that?
We conflict, yes, we do. But there's, like I said, there are some counties that don't interpret it or practice it as the statute may be written.
The Chattanooga Times Free Press and WRCB are media partners. Allison Gerber, editor and director of content for the paper, shared the following statement in response to today's meeting. The paper is disappointed that the county attorney feels he can ignore a state law that is designed to protect citizens' access to information. We hope Hamilton County will start complying with Tennessee law because its current practice is unacceptable and not in the public interest. For now, live in the studio, Claudia Coco, Channel 3 Eyewitness News. Will be right back.
Coverage you can count on. Channel 3 Eyewitness News, live at 5.
It's 5 o'clock in Chattanooga. Thank you for choosing Channel 3 for your news. I'm David Carroll.
And I'm Cindy Sexton. A busy day today. We begin with weather this evening as we take a live look outside through our Holiday Inn camera. Dreary, and right now it looks like it's not raining.
Well, the man of the hour is Chattanooga's chief meteorologist, Paul Barris. What's the latest, Paul?
It's not a pretty sight out there. Lots of rain. Further south the city, not that much rain has fallen. We'll show you in the Skywatcher in about 15-20 minutes. We'll show you the Skywatcher report. But the main thing right now is severe weather outlook. The Storm Prediction Center has put us into a slight risk area. That area in yellow covers almost the whole area except for the Blue Ridge Mountains. And this means that there's a pretty good chance we're probably going to go at least very close to a watch, if not a watch. And then this area in orange here is definitely already under a tornado watch, and we may go under a tornado watch later on. The latest word from the Storm Prediction Center is that they're going to put one out, a tornado watch in North Alabama that could include DeKalb and Jackson County, but it's definitely going to include the Huntsville area. Flash flood watch is in effect for the entire viewing area. We told you about, at least in Tennessee and Georgia last night. Now they've expanded it to the west like we thought would happen. Now most of the showers and storms are lifting off to the north. There's very little happening right now except for a few sprinkles in the valley, but this is future scan showing more rain coming in out of the southwest through Alabama. And look at this, lots of big showers and thunderstorms out to the west. Tornado watch already in Mississippi. Big thunderstorms moving through Mississippi. They'll be heading into at least Alabama, maybe our way too. 10 o'clock tonight, showers and storms start to build once again. Overnight, we're going to see more showers and storms with heavy rain. 7 o'clock in the morning, the rain lightens up a bit. This is noon. Still a pretty good chance for some rain, and those showers taper off by 6, but they're still out there. And then coming up into Thursday night around 11, some of that rain will start to change over to snow showers in the highest elevations. And that could continue right through Friday. I want to just show you right now that we got a little bit of clearing coming up too, right into early Saturday, but we're expecting at least another 2 to 4 inches of rain around here. Some spots could even be more. And as far as snow goes, the best chance it'll be over the plateau, but especially into the higher end of the Blue Ridge Mountains. Allison Pryor's in Thunder right now, and she's got a report for us. Allison?
I do, Paul. Thank you. We're along Harrison-Ooltewah Road, just off of Highway 58. I'm going to switch over and show you our current road camera. So the good news is it's been relatively dry here over the past couple of hours. So they haven't had new rainfall. We've seen water on the creeks beside the road. It's starting to recede. Earlier this afternoon, there was more significant water that was crossing the roadways. We stopped and talked to a couple of different homeowners in the region. 2 of them did tell me that there was only water in their yards. Nothing got into their homes. One person at their home did tell me, though, that they had about a couple of inches of water seep into their garage. So they did have to start moving some things around in their garage to help with that situation, but it did not get into the actual living space of the home. We are seeing along some of the side of the road, you can see a little bit of debris in spots. Crews did have to come out here with a backhoe earlier where some of the worst flooding was and clear out those ditches. There still is some trash and tree limbs in the area, so we do want to be careful for residents who are along Harrison-Ooltewah Road overnight tonight. When more rain comes through, you could see that water crossing back over the roadway again. But good news is if you are heading out for this evening, the road is dry at this time. Reporting live now from Thunder on Harrison-Ooltewah Road, I'm Allison Pryor, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
Allison and Thunder, thank you. We continue our team coverage now of the weather, where Channel 3's Joy Dukes is live from Cleveland. And we just heard a little while ago about somebody having to be rescued from high waters earlier today. Joy, what's the latest?
Well, David, a Cleveland woman is thankful to the man who stopped to help her after her car stalled out in the middle of the intersection here on Peerless Road and Georgetown Road. Just a few hours ago, this intersection was flooded. That's because fire officials say that some debris got into the storm drain, blocked it up as they were experiencing some very heavy rain in this area. Now, both Cleveland fire and police crews responded to the scene, but not before Quincy Quarles got here. He's the man Sherry Hackis says came to her rescue when no other drivers did.
Thank goodness he came up to the car, because the cars, other like trucks, bigger vehicles went past me and just kept flooding my car. Wow. I mean, that's what was happening.
Well, it didn't take long for fire crews to clear up the debris that was inside that storm drain and get the road back open. Hackis' car was towed away shortly after that. Reporting live in Cleveland, Joy Dukes, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
Joy, thank you. Well, more school closings are being announced for tomorrow, and we have some of them on the screen. To be honest with you, my thumbs have been busy on Twitter just trying to keep up. But here's what we have on the screen for you. Cleveland City, we can add Bradley County to that also. Meigs, Grundy, Polk, St. Jude. Some of them are closed Thursday and Friday, combination of illness and other factors. McMinn and Rhea, Cleveland City, among the most recent ones to be announced. And you'll notice some of them are not on the list, and you're probably saying, what about guess who? Well, these are the only ones we've heard from right now. If we hear anything else, we'll tweet it, we'll put it on Facebook, our website, and right here on Channel 3 TV.
Well,